There's a great book called The CEO Next Door, and it talks about the traits that correlate to a high performing leader. It also talks about the myths of what makes a high performing leader. Really fantastic book in the research that the authors have done. One of the traits of a high performing leader that they talk about a fair amount is called the velocity of decision making. The research shows that a leader with the trait with this trait is more than 12 times as likely to be labeled as high performing as someone who isn't. And the velocity of decision making is a great trait. And notice that what it's called. It's the speed of making a decision, not the speed of making the right decision. And I think that's something that we as leaders have to really make sure that we embrace. We don't always have to be right all the time, but we do have to be decisive using our intuition, data, feedback that we're getting from our teams, anything that we can in order to make a decision for the organization. What I found fascinating in the course of their study was that the majority of terminations that happened with CEOs over the course of their study, the majority of those terminations were because of indecision by those leaders, not bad decisions. Indecision is paralyzing. It's something that keeps the whole organization frozen. Whereas if you make a decision and you're wrong, you could always keep changing course, and that keeps people moving forward. So we really have to value the speed of making a decision, and we also have to understand that our culture does not necessarily support that. Our culture says that we always need to be precise and accurate and get it right the first time. And so what's difficult there is that our culture is really reinforcing that we always have to be right, and we don't get a chance to get it to do it again if we're wrong. But research says that just continuing to move forward is important. There's another study that was done talked about patent submissions and the idea that the most impacting patents that were ever created were an individual's 100th or 500th submission, because it was the iteration of ideas that generated better and better ideas. And so we've got to be comfortable with decision making and trying new things in order to get to those better ideas. We're not going to come up with them right away, and we've got to be comfortable encouraging our teams to go through that process and encouraging them in the process that it's okay to be wrong sometimes and then adjust as we need to, as long as we're all working towards the right goal.